Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk today about the coercive control lens. So, what I think is always happening with our children, what I know is always happening with our children. And by the way, subscribe, please, and like this channel and leave comments. I'm always looking for feedback. And there goes Maggie. But so, the coercive control lens. So when you're a child growing up in a home with a coercive controller, that coercive controller is really infiltrating the way that our child thinks. It's an indoctrination, right? And our children end up with this false narrative. And I was just talking to a mom today, and she has a 5-year-old. And I said, it's so important that right now you recognize what that person, that abuser, is saying to your child when they're not home. Because when they come back home to us, we have to actually unpack all of that and be prepared to show our child a different perspective. It's called, I say, taking off their coercive control lenses, because they've been indoctrinated into believing horrible things about you. Or in this case, this mom, her child was told that she's lazy because she doesn't make him go to swim 5 days a week. And also he does 2 other activities and he's 5 years old. That's way too much. He needs space. He said, Mommy, I like being home because I get to rest with you. But in the meantime, he says, Mommy, why are you so lazy? A 5-year-old saying that to his mother. So this child needs to have those lenses taken off and to be given perspective. Doesn't mean she has to say anything bad about that other person. All she has to do is begin to educate on the importance of boundaries, on the importance of making sure that we moderate what we do in our life, that we don't have to do too much, that we get to take breaks, that we get to rest, that rest is okay, that going for a walk is okay. You don't have to be the best swimmer. You don't have to be the best math student. And in this case, that's exactly what's going on. These authoritarian parenting styles that these coercive controllers tend to have, sometimes it's very covert. The children aren't necessarily told they better do good in school. You better get an A on that math test. How come you don't know the answer to this test question? That may not be happening. It can be entirely different. It can be something like, I really wish that maybe we had people in our family who were better at math. Or it could be, you don't really like soccer? I always loved soccer. So you see, it's just a way to get the child to begin thinking about how they're not valued as they are. Last thing we want to do is have our child feel devalued, because when they feel devalued, they're more easily controlled. And this is how they fall right in line with the indoctrination. So valuing them and valuing what they do, even if it's not necessarily your thing. And I know this is hard for some of you. I know some of you have children who are maybe making decisions as adolescents that you're not comfortable with. But the reality is that if we don't embrace who they are as humans, their authentic self, if we don't do that, they're going to line up more readily with the abuser. And so it's so important that we give them the space to be who they are, but also when they're really little, begin teaching them about things like boundaries, again, about this idea that they don't have to do, if something doesn't feel good, they don't have to do it. That you're right there supporting them if they're not comfortable going to visit someone, or if they would just prefer to stay home today. Now, that doesn't mean we give them carte blanche to make all of these decisions, but what we can do is give them agency. And that means just giving them choice. Hey, sweetheart, I know you don't want to go today to see Aunt Teresa, but she really misses us and she'd like to see us. Now, in your head, Aunt Teresa is a wonderful part of their life, absolutely wonderful part of their life. And you're wondering why they don't want to go. And is it because they've had, again, these coercive control lenses where they see the world only through the way that the coercive controller wants them to see the world? And so you might say, maybe would you like to go for an hour, or would you like to go for maybe just a half hour? And you give them agency. Now they're still going, but they're giving some choice, right? Or would you like to stop at the bookstore on the way over and maybe we can pick up that book you've been talking about, or stop at the library? I know these sound corny to some of you younger people, but these are really like tools that are out there? Or would you like to stop at the local horse farm? Or would you like to stop at the market center and get a few things to bring? And what would you like to bring? Giving them that agency is going to help them. And again, remember, if they don't want to go, have they been indoctrinated against that person? Or has that person in some way harmed them, shamed them, or done other things to them that maybe there's a real valid reason why our child doesn't want to go? We have to be thinking and considering these things, because on top of the abuse they're experiencing from the coercive controller, there are other adults in their life who may be harming them in some way. Sad, but true. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you have a great day.